Good afternoon and thank you for being here. I want you to know I'm kind of like living a dream right now because back in 2002 when we started Mentor Tech, we never imagined that we would have this many mentors. So would you please give Cynthia a hand because she recruited 307. So we're going to do our best to get you out of here on time. I know some of you have to leave a little early. We want to get you out. We felt it necessary because this year, about 60% of our mentor group, brand new mentors. And there's often questions that come up on how can I help my protege? Because they seem like they have it all together. And the reality is they don't. The majority of our proteges have never had mentors before in a formal setting, so they don't really know what to ask and how to do it. So we had a workshop just a couple days ago about how to utilize you as a resource and how to get the most out of the relationship with you. And so we felt it necessary also to give you an opportunity to know from us kind of what we have in mind, and talk a little bit about some of the challenges. There are handouts on your table so you can follow along if you want, to take some notes if you so desire. So quickly, why did you become a mentor? Just give me a couple answers. Why did you sign up? You're acting like your students right now.
I have a son that is going to be starting tech next fall, okay. And I thought to myself, there was someone there to kind of help them navigate not only campus, but the different resources that would have things like that. And I would want to be able to provide that to
Awesome. So she has a son that's about to come to school next year. Thinking, gosh, wouldn't it be nice if there was somebody to help him? So I want to know what to do. How many of you, when you first got to your college campus or your first job or whatever, were lost? Raise your hand. Everybody. We all lost. And it was so nice to have somebody there to kind of help us. You know, this is how we do what we do. Somebody else got a hand back there, yes ma'am? You had your hand up there?
Sure. Well, I feel that outside of our department, we have a lot of resources that a lot of the TTU students don't know about. I work in the food medicine office. I love everybody. And so this is a great opportunity for me to have that one-on-one talks with them and inspire them and let them know about our different programs. So I think this is a great format for that.
Great.
So thank you.
Thank you. So to share with your students, to get some information for your own kids, one or two other reasons, real quick. Yes, ma'am.
I'm kind of worried a lot of my major. I'm black and I'm a female in the sciences.
Okay.
So I never had a mentor that's like me, and I wanted to help somebody else so that they don't know these things.
Want to pay it forward, want to kind of make it easier for someone else. Wendell, you have your hand up?
I had mentors, so I really needed someone else and not let it stop there. So like you said, pay it forward.
Had a mentor, you want to help someone else grow. You want to pay it forward. You want to be a mentor for someone else. I have two of my proteges here who are going to come briefly and share with you so you hear from a protege perspective what they benefited from their mentors. Lauren Hall.
Hi.
Yeah.
My mentor helped me to expand my network. When I first came to Tech, I told him that I wanted to be a mortarboard, and he taught me basically how to maneuver my way through as far as my grades, joining organizations in order to get into mortarboard, and I'm happy to say that I'm now in mortarboard. So my mentors helped me basically like accomplish all my goals.
Give her a hand. Give her a mentor a hand. Let's see Tiara Robinson.
Hi guys, my mentor is actually in the room, Reagan. Say hey. Okay, like when I first came into Tech, my ideals for my mentor was a little, pretty much based on family oriented. I wanted somebody that I could have like a safe haven for, being so far away from my family. And freshman year was like really hard for me, and Reagan was definitely like the reason I kind of stayed. The classes, she had me up at like 8 a.m. tutoring, and I knew she was a keeper when like I kind of like was walking, and then I just ran into her, and all of a sudden I started crying because I was like overwhelmed. And she like kind of talked me through it. So like she was definitely like that person that I would go to like when I needed anything. Now that I'm graduating in December and I've had her for almost 5 years now, it's kind of, she's no longer like a mentor, she's family. So we talk about anything together, and she was like really there just to push me and continue to like encourage me and push me forward. And that's kind of like what I needed at that time. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So there's impact that you make that may not seem apparent. And yesterday, I had this opportunity to hear an awesome speaker talk about how small things can make major impacts. And he showed this clip, and I was like, I'm using it tomorrow. So please pay attention to the screen.
Everybody knows about playing with dominoes, but what you may not know is that a domino can knock over another domino, which is about 1.5 times larger. What I have here is a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. And the smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. And I will carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. And the largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds and is more than 1 meter tall. Ready? That was 13 dominoes. If I had 29 dominoes, the last domino would be as tall as the Empire State Building.
Simple demonstration to illustrate the impact you can have, and it may seem small to you, but you never know how that one small thing will have residual effects. So that one student that you impact impacts another student, they impact groups of students, and so forth and so on, until you've made a huge impact. And I can tell you from experience that we have students in our program who initially may not appreciate or understand the value that you bring to their lives. But down the road, perhaps after they've bumped their head a couple times, maybe after they've had to, go home for a semester, perhaps years later after they've graduated, you'll get a card, you'll get a call, you'll get an email that reminds you of the small thing you thought, but the big thing, the big difference it made in their lives. So, we want you to be a source, a resource for them. Support. We want you to utilize your expertise, and you kind of help them during those times of difficulty. Now, we have different generations of mentors and different generations of proteges. And effective mentoring requires that each partner understand the context of the other's generation. Because things are quite different than when I was in school. In fact, one of the very first places I arrived here on Texas Tech campus was this very room. And back in the dark ages, we actually had a card that we had to bring into this room to register. And you had to go, somebody in here knows what I'm talking about. And the line would be out the door way down there, and you're like, oh my gosh. And they're like, oh, you didn't get a signature, so you had to get out of line. All right. Now from their computers or their iPads or their tablets or their phones, they can add drop classes in a heartbeat. Things have completely changed. There was a time when the residence hall on campus, Jose, had actual phones in them. Wow. Now, you see people riding bikes on the phone. When I was in high school, the only people who had car phones were people with like money or drug dealers, one or the other, right? And the phone was about this big. So we gotta understand each other's context and the circumstances and the contributing forces that affect how we connect. So let's talk a little bit about who you are. In this room, there are individuals who would be categorized as veterans. Those who were born between 1922 and 1945. I'm not going to ask you to identify yourself. They're boomers. 1946 to 1964. Generation X. Right? Yeah, we were out. 1965 to 1980, and the millennials. And it's interesting because now we have millennial mentors mentoring millennial students. A few years ago, millennials was not on this slide, it was just on the slide of the students. But we have individuals like Candace. Candace, stand up. Candace was one of the very first, she was included in the first 46 students that Protege had. She went through as a student and then became a mentor cluster leader. And so it's interesting that now she is giving back to the program they gave to her. We're seeing that more and more. There are several others in here. So here's some differences. If you just look at the differences and the things that we value and the things that influence by generation, the differences in the heroes, right? The differences in fashion and trends and things that were important. Look at the differences all on your slide, on your handout. But the Great Depression had taken place, World War II. All of this was a part of that era. Contrast that with the boomers. Vietnam, civil rights, MLK, JFK, John Glenn. Look at the differences in the cultural icons. This is where designer labels start emerging. Generation X grew up in financial difficult times, single parent families, latchkey kids. The values are a little bit different. Their heroes are a little bit different. Your heroes are entertainers and athletes. It's quite different. Fashion? Y'all remember Madonna? MC, I had some hammer pants. I threatened to wear them for Halloween one time. My son said, "Dad, if you do, I promise I will never speak to you again." I couldn't fit him though. Millennials. It's all different. They grew up in a much more diverse society than I did, and perhaps generations before me. Fashion is casual. You just define yourself. Whatever you want to wear, it works. A little bit different. This is a year of, and the time of reality TV. And so heroes to some of our students are the Kardashians. I'm just saying. And they are the millennials. So you have their differences, your differences. So what does this mean? That those differences can sometimes cause challenges, tension. It can be a little bit difficult to merge, because if you grew up in an era where when people called you, you called them back. And like if you wrote somebody, you actually wrote someone. Our students talk like they text. And sometimes the mentor is like, what in the, you need to go to the English Center right now. A few years ago, we had to have a workshop to help mentors utilize social media. They're like, what is Facebook? I don't know what that is. I had mentors say, my student never returns my call, but always responds to a text. So text them. Or tell them that you prefer that they call you. Right? You have to work through that because it can be conflictual. So you have a snapshot of the various core values. Look at the differences in how education was viewed. The veterans viewed education, it was a dream. Boomers, it's a birthright. Gen Xers, it's a pathway. And now millennials are like, it's optional. Because I can start a tech company and make billions. I don't have to go to school for that. There are many ways and really different paths. And so sometimes you run into situations where a student is questioning whether or not I really need to even do this. Because I have a friend who's making a whole lot more money than I can imagine making. I have students right now who called me and was like, oh man, CP, I want you to know, man, thanks for Mentor Tech. The resume workshop proved very, very helpful. I just got a job. My starting salary is 6 figures. I'm like, I'm in the wrong business. Communication. You remember the rotary phone? You had to have, I mean, you wasn't no speed dial. You call a radio station, you never win a prize. The way they view work is different too. Culturally, their work ethic is different. There's not the longevity, the sense of, this is the company that helped me, I want to stay with this company forever. I will work for you for a week, and if another job comes up, see ya. Different perspectives. Work, for the veterans, an obligation. For the boomers, an adventure. For the Gen Xers, a challenge. For the millennials, it's a means to the end. All I want to do is make money. I want to get there quick. Success. Right? So we have to find common ground. So think about your students and think about where you are and what you bring to them and they bring to you. Because we have plenty of mentors who say they learn more from their student than they feel like they're teaching their student. Interesting you mentioned, your child and your student coming up. We have mentors who say, like, having this protege help my relationship with my child. Because they help me to understand what they're going through. So, some things to remember. They don't know what they don't know. You know, because you've lived through it. They have no idea. They think they don't. Now, there are some very, very mature students in our program, and there's some very, very immature mentors. We have the mixture. But basically, you need to be the voice of experience and reason and wisdom for our students. I had a student a few years ago who was a straight A student all the way through, got into college, soared, got into law school, and got a C. And was like, no, this is for me. I'm gonna quit. This is too hard. I've never made this in my life. She was in a full-out panic. I'm leaving, and then I called over to one of our resources in the law school, and they said she's exactly where we expected her to be at this point. But she didn't know that. So a mentor could say, trust me, you'll be all right. This is just the beginning. The first breakup, I'm going to the counseling center, right? I mean, it's heartbreaking, it's hard. But if you can pull back, remember back, reflect back to those days for you, you can help them through that. And please model appropriate behavior for them, because sometimes they don't know. It amazed us a year and a half ago. We had a mail out, like an actual mail out, and we asked students to label the envelopes. Mail tech came back and was like, what are you doing over there? They did not know how to put the label. It's like, no, man. And then I had to think, they don't send packages. They don't send letters. When was the last time you actually wrote a handwritten letter and mailed it to someone? Please be transparent. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know, because it lets them know it's okay for them not to know. But it's not okay not to want to know. And together you can try to find the answers. So we all need people to be the compass force, to challenge us, to confront us, to connect us to resources, to correct us. Sometimes to champion for us, to be that person who calls and pushes and finds the answer. And so many of you do that on a regular basis. Already we've received phone calls from mentors whose students are about to leave because they don't know how they're going to pay the bill, and they don't realize that all they had to do was go in and select accept from their financial aid. Or there's been a change in the family status. And now they may become eligible for additional funding. Like, sometimes you have to be that voice, be that person. And as mentors, you basically help our students hit the mark. And what is the mark? It's defined by the student. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? What are the challenges that are keeping you from that? Sometimes they have no clue. So if you graduated from college in this room, but changed your major at least once while you were in college, raise your hand. Right? So it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to be like, you know, I really thought medicine was for me, but the blood part, not for me. I really, really want to be an engineer, but this math? Use your contacts. Every one of you has contacts, connections. So the student is asking, oh, I really want to shadow, and maybe I can't, there's no one that they can immediately connect with, but you know someone. And use yourselves as resources. We have these roundtables each month, and it's designed to give you information that will be relevant to your students, but it's also designed to help you connect one with the other. Last year, we had several mentors say, you know, we're always on campus, we like to get away and maybe have a little drink and, you know, not worry about students seeing us. It's like, okay, so we're doing a mentor roundtable, a mentor after hours. Casual setting, no agenda, no signing, you know, just you come and be with others like you. And talk about your students. Okay. We have a mentor handbook, be online, and you can download it. It has a wealth of information and resources that are there and available to you. Your mentor cluster leaders, all the mentor cluster leaders in the room, would you please stand? We try to put one at every table. Would you please give them a hand? These men and women are veteran mentors who've been in the program at least a year, who are there for you. Because they have traversed through this territory, they felt some of the challenges, they've had students that didn't call them back, they had students who changed their mind, they didn't want to be in the program. All of that has happened to some of your mentor cluster leaders, or all of your mentor cluster leaders. Some of them have been in the program so long that when you ask them how many students, they said, they're like, wait, hold on. I don't even know. But they're there to help you, so when they call you or they email you, please respond to them. Let them know, we're good, we're not good. Okay, right? So if your student is unresponsive, and is not communicating, please don't wait until December to tell us. Or wait till the picnic and I'm like, how's things going? Yeah, I haven't seen them since September. A little late for us to fix it. So your mentor cluster leaders are your first line of defense. I need some ideas on what to do with this student. The student's having some issues, I don't know what to do. What did you do? I mean, can we get together with our students? They're there to help you. Each one of them has a responsibility to reach out to you on a monthly basis just to see how things are going. So don't just ignore their calls and their emails. Please, we work hard to get them to serve, and some of them volunteer countless hours to help, and it really helps us because they're an extension of the staff. This morning I looked. Right now, actively engaged or listed in our program, we have 890 people. 890. Right now, we have a full-time staff, myself included, 4. It's absolutely impossible for us to know everything that's going on with everybody. So the mentor cluster leaders and the PAC leaders really are extensions of us to help you to make sure that your matches are working. So goal setting really helps the relationship. We encourage you to establish SMART goals with your students. SMART goals will help you help them, and it gives you a way of tracking whether or not we're accomplishing what we say. And some of the mentors in this room have been with us for a long, long time, and they remember when everything was by paper. It took forever, like the application was 4 pages long, and now everything is online. So my.mentortech.ttu.edu, you can go on and you can submit your SMART goals, you can track your SMART goals, you can send us messages regarding issues, you can give us information on the interactions and how the status of the relationship is going. And on our website, we actually have tutorial videos to walk you through how to establish your SMART goals in the online system. And it's a wonderful resource that's available to you to help you and your students. So please utilize the website and establish those goals. So here's some keys, and we're going to get out of here. Keys to establishing and maintaining successful relationships. Establish good boundaries, ground rules. So if your student is really, really needy and you really, really don't want that, or you really, really don't have time for that, have a conversation with them. You don't have to call me after every class. Yeah, it happens. What's interesting is that we have mentors like, my student never calls me, and then we have mentors like, she calls me all day long! What are the ground rules? What are your expectations? What are their expectations? Their expectations. You need to spend regular time. We ask that you see them, physically see them, at least twice a month. And that you have some communication with them every week. Phone, email, Facebook, text messages, just, how's it going? That means they can stop by your office if you have an office and it's okay with you and your boss. They can stop by and say hi. You can gather at one of the Mentor Tech functions. You can go to sporting events. We have mentors and proteges who worship together, go with their hair done together, get their nails done. We have students who pet sit, babysit, house sit, whatever is good for you, as long as it doesn't break any of the university rules or any other laws, we're good. Ask your proteges to tell you their story. How did they get here? What's their family like? Because a lot of the issues that you will see is a result of things that are going on outside. You would be amazed the type of issues that students come and talk to us about. Students whose parents are fighting terminal illnesses. Students whose parents are going through divorce, or students whose siblings pass away. Or students, a few years ago, whose mother was murdered, and the student was our only surviving relative, and the student had to leave school and go arrange all of the things associated with that. And still come back and get a 3.8 GPA. So get to know them, get to know their story, will help you build that trust. Share who's impacted your life. What's your mentor done for you? Describe those things to them. Remember those SMART goals. Discuss what does success look like for that student. Like what makes success, what does it look like for you? And at first it's going to be, I just want to, have a house. Okay, let's dig a little deeper. How are we going to get there? That gives you the things to work on for the SMART goals. Little steps to help them along the way. So that you don't end up saying, I don't know if we're making a difference or not. You have those conversations, you build that trust, they'll tell you. Remember the confidentiality agreement. Things that you can share, discuss that. Things that you must share. You both have copies of those agreements, and they're also online. Remember the boundaries. Agree on how you're going to handle those obstacles. How will you handle when you feel like I may have said something that didn't sit well? How are you going to handle when I told you something that you needed to hear, but you didn't want to hear? How are we going to handle that? Because we're also teaching them life skills. Because life, all of us know, is not easy. Those disappointments, helping them through those. You have a protege mentor agreement, amend it as necessary. What do you want to add to it? so that you both feel like you're valued in this. We stress to our students in their workshop the importance of connection and respect, and to not just think about now, but think about later and how it can help them down the road. Make a plan for implementing your agreements. So meet regularly from time to time. Ask them how they think things are going with the relationship. Share how you think things are going. You will sometimes run into a student, because they changed their majors, who says, I really now want a mentor who's in blah. Don't be offended. Because you help them. If you help them discover who they don't want to be, you help them discover who they can. Share your insights with them. Evaluate those meetings. Encourage your proteges to give you feedback, and then modify goals as needed. Model that behavior. Be transparent. Please hold them accountable. If a student schedules a meeting with me and doesn't show up, they don't get to just show up and get in to meet with me. You have to go back and we have to schedule a meeting because my time is valuable. I told them in our time management workshop that time is the only thing that once it's gone, you can never get it back. It's more valuable than silver, more valuable than gold, more valuable than platinum. That when someone shares a moment with you or shares some of their time with you, they're giving you a part of their life. So, hey, we had a meeting. What happened to you? You didn't call me. You said you were going to call me. Things. Okay, well, we'll see you next week. Sometimes holding them accountable is saying no. Last day, one of our mentors was sharing that if a student doesn't give her 3 weeks notice when they want a letter of recommendation, they don't get a letter of recommendation. Oh, but miss, right now, I forgot. Well, next time remember. Or, do what I do. I have this whole conversation. Like, I know I'm going to write them a letter, but I make them feel like I'm not. All the students in the room, close your ears. And so they're sitting there like, oh, CP, I'm sorry, I missed it. I have a report to do, and got phrases on my back. I got stuff to do. I don't know, maybe next month. But it's due today! Yeah. Hold them accountable. I've talked a lot. I have some moments left. Questions from you. Been doing this since the beginning, so I'll try my best. There are mentors in the room, better mentors, and others who can also jump in. Yes?
Where is the Mentor Tech office?
Where is the Mentor Tech office? Very good question. It is in Doak Hall, room 1046 and 7. Doak Hall, the first floor of Doak Hall, where housing used to be, right behind Human Sciences. Doak Hall, room 106. That's the main, let's go there. 106. That's also on our website, also on our phone number, all of that is listed. And our email is just mentor@ttu.edu. Other questions? FYI, you do not have to pay for your students for anything. If you do so, that's out of the kindness of your heart. Right? If you're going to go Dutch, make sure you let them know ahead of time. Please choose a restaurant that is college student friendly, financially. Yes, ma'am.
Can we tell them the website as they're going to the...
Yes, you can. When you log in, you can see your students' information. And if there's an event that's coming up, it shows you what if they've RSVP'd to come. And you can also see if they've been attending. And if you have any of those questions, you can easily call us and we'll be glad to solve them. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are we required to log our information, our accounts with them, as well as the proteges? Are they required to log them?
Very good question. Very, very good question. So once a month, we ask you to submit a summary of your interactions. And you can go in and you can put it in. Now, some people do it every time because they're going to forget. And there are mentors who are like, I have to do that because I'm very organized, and if I don't, I'm going to lose it, and I'm color coordinated, and all my stuff is together. We love it. Please do. Others are like, oh my gosh, I see her every day, so I be doing it all. Just summarize how you saw them, what happened, and then you rate the status of your relationship, and you rate the interaction, right? So that it helps us, because we're a data-driven program, it helps us to know how many times you're seeing your proteges, if there are academic issues, like we can see, well, now you're meeting with your mentor, but are you having conversations? Are you talking about your grades, or what's going on? Also, it helps us to identify those potential issues. So you can send us, like you can put in notes that only the staff sees regarding what's going on. So during the interaction, the student says something to you that causes you concern and you just want to make us aware, just type that in there, no, the student will never see it. When you submit an interaction, the student gets an email that says your mentor has submitted the interaction, which gives them the opportunity to go in and they too can make comments on that interaction. Because there are times when mentors are like, I see her every week. And the student's like, I never see her. Or, I think we're great. But the student's like, oh my gosh, she's like my mom. Okay? Yes, Peter.
Those interactions when you document things that might be of concern, in what ways might that be violating confidentiality? So if I put that in there and you can see it, what are the bounds in terms of confidentiality? Like, I was just telling Ro about something that was going on, and it's good to sort of keep aware of. I kind of feel like something might be going on with this student. In what ways might that be violating boundaries of confidentiality?
So there are 3 instances where you have to tell us. If the student is hurting themselves, being hurt by someone, or thinking about hurting someone, you have to tell us, right? That you have to report it. That's the rules. Title IX violation, sexual discrimination, all this stuff. You have to report those. You can tell us and say, I just want you to know. I just want it documented. We're not going to say anything. If it's like, if you don't feel like put it on, you want to call us, you can do that. We do keep confidential files on student stuff. You know, there are things, incidents that happen where like, we have to have this documented just in case something happens, so we cover ourselves. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so it isn't a violation of confidentiality because that extends into the organization.
Exactly. Now, if they were like, you know, I'm thinking about changing my major, please don't tell anybody. Don't tell us. Yes. Absolutely. So each of your students has a student leader, what we call PAC. They're the young men and women in the black and red shirts around the room. There's 57 or 60 of them. And so if your student needs a ride, they can call, they can let us know, we'll make sure they get transportation. Now, there's nothing that says you can't pick them up or take them unless you don't want them in your car. Otherwise, we're fine with that. But if they cannot come to events because they don't have transportation, please don't let that be a barrier. Let us know. And you can come to any of the events on our calendar. We have 31 events this semester. So you're welcome to come to anything you want to. There are some things where we specifically say, please come, this is a great opportunity. Like we're going to main event, you can bring your kids. We pay for you, we pay for your student, we pay for your kids. But you pay at the negotiated rate. They get everything else that we get at the same price. Okay? If your student cannot attend events because of their work schedule, class schedule, or other obligations, all they need to do is simply let us know. Because they do have attendance requirements to come to 3 academic or career development events, or 1 social event per semester. If they cannot attend, they need to let us know. Because when at the banquet time, students who have not met their attendance requirement and have not given us information that they cannot make those attendance requirements will not be getting a free ticket. Okay? But if they have class, simple, no problem. Just let us know, we put it in their files, it's documented, and they're good to go. Any other questions? Students still can join. We, all semester long, take people. So yes, they can just go on the website, mentortech.ttu.edu, click on Get Involved, and then become a protege. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. If you just go to ttu.edu/campus map, it's there. We can email it out to you. So we'll make sure we put that on the website, so you can go to our website and get it there. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a minimum or maximum number of smart goals that we need to establish?
I think it's a minimum of 3. You can, a maximum of whatever you want to do. Yes, ma'am. You can do both. Yes.
You can set 3 active smart goals at a time.
You can add 3 SMART goals active at a time. And she was just asking if it's a semester, you can do it for the semester, or you can do it. You can have multiple, like to get towards that big goal. We'll make sure you all have the link for establishing SMART goals as well. It's on our website, but we'll send it out. Any other questions?
You had mentioned that in regards to SMART goals, and this is I'm new with this.
Yes, ma'am.
You can go onto the website and it gives you some ideas.
Absolutely. Yes. You can, if you log in, when you log in as a mentor, you'll see an area that says SMART goals. It'll give you sample SMART goals, whether it's SMART. It will help you to determine whether it's specific, measurable, action-oriented, timely, realistic, etc. And it gives you some samples so that you can kind of test it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Once again, I would just like to say thank you for being here and for agreeing to serve this year. This is a record year for us regarding participation. You're a part of it. We hope you enjoy your shirts. Those of you who came to orientation, you received lapel pins. For those of you who did not come to orientation, you will receive a lapel pin. We had 350 made. We have 307 mentors, and we seem to have lost some lapel pins along the way. I think it fell into some CAD members' pockets, but we're going to make sure that you get those as well. Please fill out your evaluations. You can leave them on your desk or on the table. Thanks so much for your attendance. We have these once a month. You'll receive all the information.